Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'd like to recognize our mayor who's here in the audience, and all those of you in the audience, thank you for being here on this hot day. Hot again. I'd like to get started by asking Radel to do a roll call, please.
Good evening. Aaron Rivera.
Present.
Richard Gonzalez.
Present.
Sandra Alanis.
Present.
Mark Moran.
Present.
Jerry Lozano.
Present.
Veronica Gonzalez.
Present.
And Homer Hauso
I see
is
him.
walking
I see
in.
him walking in right now. He's also present. I think I can attest to that.
Mr. Chair, everyone's here and we have quorum.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask everybody to stand so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Moving on to item 2, certification of public service. Was this meeting posted properly?
Yes, sir. The notice of this meeting was posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act on July 7th at 5 p.m.
Thank you, sir. And now let's move on to item 3, disclosure of conflict of interest. Manny?
Good afternoon, board members. Under Texas law, a conflict of interest exists when a board member or certain family member has a financial qualifying interest in a matter before this board. Are there any conflicts to disclose? Thank you.
No. Okay, moving on to item 4, public comment. Sam, do we have any public comments? No? Okay, thank you. Next item is number 5, agenda items. First is item A. Consider and take action on approval of minutes for the regular board meeting held on June 15th, 2026. The minutes are in your packet and you should have been read, or they should have been read. If there are no changes, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye or raise your right hand. Motion passes. Next item is item B. Consider and take action on proposal for improvements to Coon Street properties. Glad you want to talk about a little bit about this?
Yes, sir. We've owned 3 properties along Kuhn Street, right behind City Hall over here, 2 of which had very dilapidated homes in it in the past. We demolished those homes and removed them from the site. In trying to make sure that we can prepare those properties for future improvement, one of the things that we wanted to do was basically do the same kind of surfacing that we have at what we call the food truck area, which is where most of the city vehicles are parked right now, just to the west of City Hall, which is crushed granite, and also to provide some fencing to separate our properties from the adjacent property owners. The adjacent property owners have some older fencing that is actually encroaching on our properties. And so we've talked to them and told them that we'd like to remove those fences and build new fences on the property line. And they have agreed to that. In your packet, we have some quotes from some vendors who have proposed to do that work. Lala Home Solutions has been the lowest bid on both the clearing and grading of the 3 lots, which includes demolition of concrete slabs, removal of the small palm trees, and installation of caliche as a base, and then the crushed granite on each lot. And also the installation of 3 fences that are 8 foot high, cedar wood, and the demolition of the existing fences. On the fence, the 3 vendors were Lala Home Solutions, RGV Fence, and Central Fence, and they were all within a couple of $100 of each. So very good quotes, very good pricing. And then on the clearing and grading of the properties, Lala Home Solutions was definitely a lot lower than everybody else, but their work has been reviewed and their qualifications are solid. So we are recommending both improvements to Lala Home Solutions. One of them in the cost of $11,550, the other one $19,500.
Let me ask, Lala Home Solutions, where are they from? Do you know?
San Juan.
San Juan? And how about RGB Fence?
RGB Fence,
Mhm.
you want to step up and talk about
Do
that?
we have any Edinburgh people?
RGB Fence is from Edinburgh. Step up.
Okay. From Edinburgh, okay. Does anybody have any questions?
It's not a packet deal, right, where if you hire one for one project, you have to hire them for the second?
No,
And then you said y'all did some due diligence into Lala Home Solutions to determine
Correct.
their track record, and you felt good about the reviews that you got?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, I do have a quick question. There's a huge discrepancy in pricing for the clearing and grading from Lala Homes to everybody else. We're sure we're talking apples to apples when, were their
Yeah.
pricing? Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, Board. Daniel Garza with the Edinburgh EDC. Yes, we actually followed up with all contractors to make sure that everybody was submitting their proposals apples to apples, making sure that everybody had the correct amount of inches or cubic yards for the material that was being proposed. They all were, but their price difference just depended on the moving of equipment and labor and whatnot.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
I have a- Yes. Delala, yeah. Okay, so I have a motion to approve and a second. Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, signal motion passes. Next item is item C, consider ratifying executive director action on change of order number 1 and 2 for transit center parking lot. Item number C. Let's see here.
So in your packet, you have some information on our parking lot cost breakdown. The cost of the parking lot itself, the initial cost was $312,058.85. The additional lighting and electrical work that we're working on in terms of the lighting, light poles, was $56,000. We have a change order for $46,963.35, and then the change order for $8,100 or $8,163. Change order number 1 was for the installation of charging stations. As you all know, we have some people who are very passionate about electrical vehicles and want to make sure that every project that we have, that we're working on, we have the ability to provide those charging stations. And so we went through a process of trying to identify the best charging station for the price at that time. And we went ahead with the one that would provide us with not just the ability for 2 charging stations, but to expand into 4 charging stations in the future. And that's the $46,963.35. Change order number 2 was really for some additional work that was done that was not anticipated. There was some concrete from a previous building that was buried underneath that had to be removed, that was not supposed to have been there. And there was also a sanitary sewer line and a water line that were in the property that needed to be capped, and so those had to be capped, and so that was those 2 expenses. Overall, we had a contingency, and so these costs are still within the contingency, and we're still below budget.
Okay, so we're good with the budget, huh? Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion passes. All right, next item is item D, presentation and possible action regarding the U.S. Department of Labor Building Pathways to Infrastructure. That's it.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Leti Pantoja with the Edinburgh EDC. So today we have Paloma Castro Romero with the Workforce Solutions. She's a business relations representative who will be presenting. So the presentation is on your packet, but she'll go ahead and present from here.
Hello, good evening. My name is Paloma Castro Romero. I am a business relations representative at Workforce Solutions over Rio, and it is a pleasure to be here with y'all today. Before I start off, I just want to express our gratitude from Workforce Solutions for the partnership that we have continued to build with the Edinburgh EDC, from having lunch and learns where we share all our services that we have to collaborating on job fairs. Truly, this partnership has grown a lot over the last few years, and we are very excited to potentially have it grow even more with this project. So I am going to be talking about a Department of Labor grant. It is titled the Building Pathways to Infrastructure's Jobs Grant. And a little bit about it, there's some information on the screen, but the main thing is really just to train individuals in high demand sectors. And what this grant is focusing on is 3 specific sectors. The first one being advanced manufacturing, and also information technology, and lastly, the professional, scientific, and technical services. Those are the more broadband / transportation. So although this grant is focusing on 3 sectors, many occupations can fall under these sectors. So we can help and train in these occupations. So like I mentioned, it was awarded by the Department of Labor, and we applied for it, Workforce Solutions Lower Rio, in collaboration with Workforce Solutions Cameron. So we are able to serve Hidalgo, Star, Willacy, and Cameron. And it is a total of a 5-year grant, and we are currently in the active implementation of year 3. Just some goals that this grant has, truly, like I mentioned, 1, to train in in-demand occupations. 2, to really build on the partnerships that we have with our community partners. This grant really wants us to not just work as a workforce board, but to really show and demonstrate to the state that we are communicating and we are in contact with our community partners so that we are seeing and hearing the needs of our local workforce. And lastly, really, it is to develop a career-focused training model that will be sustainable, not just for right now with this grant, but also after the grant life ends. So this is our formal request. We are formally asking the Edinburgh EDC to commit a $10,000 matching funds. These matching funds are required by the grant, by the Department of Labor, and they are used solely for support services. These support services are just ways that we can support individuals in training that goes on with this grant. And the training that is eligible, it is 1, an individual training account. We like to call it an ITA. An ITA is very simple. An individual wants to get trained in an occupation that is eligible, let's say cybersecurity, right? And I get informed about this grant, I'm eligible, and they sign me up for training with an eligible training provider, and they fund that training. That is an ITA, and we currently have 9. Oh, actually, we have 8 slots available. I was just informed today. But yes, and then for apprenticeships, Earn While You Learn model, we all know what apprenticeships are, and this funds the classroom portion of it. We have 4 slots for that. And then lastly, the employer favorite is on-the-job training, OJT, which is basically a wage reimbursement for the employers that are working with us, and we have a contract with them. We are able to reimburse up to 50% of an eligible participant's wages for the first 6 months of their employment. And I do need to note that although we are requesting the full $10,000 in matching funds, it does not necessarily mean that we will exhaust all funds by the end of this contract year. This contract year for the grant ends in approximately 3 months, so it's just something to note. We need the commitment for the full $10,000, but we might not use the entire amount, but that is absolutely no issue. It's happened in the past before, and our contracts admin team, which handles the implementation of this grant, is very communicative with the matching fund partner, and they will be able to discuss what will happen with the funds. Okay, so now where will the $10,000 be going to? These will be used as support services. And these are a few examples of what support services are. It includes uniform. Maybe to get their training done, they need steel-toe boots, or they need a certain coat. So we can definitely fund that for the participant. Also tools. I know that many IT trainings do need to purchase a certain program or a software to be able to complete the training. So we are able to purchase that as well. Or maybe we we already funded the training, but they need to take a certification exam, we can actually fund that as well. So with what these support services are doing, they're removing the barriers that individuals are experiencing whenever they want to get training done. So not only are we funding that training, but we are also funding ways that can assist them to complete that training successfully. Now, even though this grant does focus on certain sectors and certain occupations, we didn't just want to train because the grant told us to. We actually wanted to speak to local employers to make sure that we were hearing what their needs were and that we were actually training in what they needed to be trained. So we spoke to a few different employers, one of them being Blue Parrot Software. And we sat down with the president and we explained what the grant was, the occupations that we could train, the different ways that we can help, whether it be an ITA or an on-the-job training wage reimbursement. And they said, all hands on deck, that is definitely something that we need. I know that with IT growing in the region, it is something that definitely we need to increase the training in to make sure that we give the employers a very highly qualified candidate pool. Because we hear a lot of, yes, we need cybersecurity, but I haven't found a candidate that actually has the skills, that has the qualifications. So this is what the grant is aiming to fix. And so they also included some certifications that would be useful, whether we do it through an ITA or an OJT. And then I also included training providers. It's just a small note that as long as a training provider is on our eligible training providers list, and so is your training, then we can go ahead and fund it. And it's eligible under this grant. And that's a little bit more on the technical side, but I just wanted to include that as well. We also met with DHR Health, another employer here local in the region, and they expressed the same thing, that IT is a big need. They really do need the training. They included the occupations that they typically hire for or would like to hire for in the near future, and the certifications that would be needed to fulfill. And these are all eligible under this grant. Now, that being said, because we are here, we heard the local employer input from them, that does not mean that we're limited to only working with those two employers. We can work with as many employers that are willing to help with this grant and with this opportunity. So with South Texas Health Systems, with Driscoll, any employer that wants to give these individuals a chance, that's already a win for us, and they can, of course, participate. The main focus of this grant truly is to get residents, community members trained and equipped to have a good, high-paying job. And also at the same time, we're providing employers with the opportunity to have highly skilled talent. So that is what the employers are gaining. They don't have to go out and find talent in another city. We like for them to get their talent from here locally, and they're already pre-trained. So no more, they don't have the qualifications or the certifications. Now they will be able to. And also another upside for the employers is the OJT wage reimbursement. So if they hire an individual that is eligible under this grant and they're going through this grant and they hire them, for the first 6 months, they get 50% of their wages reimbursed, up to $8,000. And then likely with the apprenticeship support as well, if they're participating in that, then they get funded $2,000 per participant. Now, these are the expected outcomes and benefits. My apologies, but yes, the total training slots just decreased slightly today. They just notified me. It went from 16 to 15 total training slots. But still, if Edinburgh EDC does agree to commit to the $10,000 in matching funds, we are committing to 30% of the training slots available, which is 5 slots. So that is a minimum. Let's say that an employer in Edinburgh is giving referrals. Hey, I'm sharing this with this grant with the individual that I would like to get trained. Well, then of course you can refer them, and if they're eligible, then that's great. We can have more Edinburgh participation. We're just guaranteeing the 5, but there's always opportunity for more. And of course, that's Edinburgh 100% investing in their own community. They're getting their residents trained. They're giving their local employers really highly skilled candidates, and there's nothing better than that, truly. And so, like I mentioned before, just a little bit of the advantages is each ITA participant, they get up to $3,500 to complete their training. With the wage reimbursement, it's up to $8,000, and then apprenticeship, $2,000. And of course, 5 is already a great amount because we know that every resident counts, every training counts. But we also have the opportunity that I had to mention that maybe not just this year, but for next year as well. In the next 3 months, we're going to be starting our next contract year, year 4. And the available training slots are going to increase by a large amount. So then if Edinburgh EDC chooses to partner, again, maybe in the next year, that 30% will of course increase the slots that are secured solely for Edinburgh. This is a small summary of my request, $10,000 in matching funds for the required matching fund requirement from the Department of Labor grant. And by that being given to us and committed and pledged, then we are securing 5 slots for Edinburgh. And if you have any questions, or if you would like for me to expand on a certain topic more, I'm happy to do so, but that does conclude my presentation. And I very much thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paloma. Thank you, and I'll open it up. Yes?
Sure. So thank you so much for the presentation. I think it's very thorough. My only question is, you mentioned that the contract year ends in 3 months, so, and that the monies, the $10,000 will be used more for certifications or for licensing fees, uniforms, things like that.
Yes.
Is it realistic to think that in 3 months you'll be able to get the candidates in place and be able to draw down some of these dollars? I don't think it's a bad idea. I love the idea of what you're doing, and I think the grant is paying for the training, from what I understand, and we're
Yes.
paying for other services, right? But because it's a short runway of the 3 months, is that sufficient time to be able to use these funds, you think?
Yes, I believe that there is very much a demand in what the individuals wanting to be trained. I'm actually CC'd in the emails every time there's a job seeker, an unemployed individual that is interested in this grant. So I get approximately 5 to 10 submissions a day. So there is that demand, there is that want from them. So do I believe that these slots could be finished? Maybe not completely. Maybe we have 1 or 2 remaining slots. That's how it was last year, that didn't get filled. But I know, like I mentioned, the numbers kept changing quickly. Whenever I first did the presentation, I believe we had 20 some slots, and now we lowered it to 15. So I do think that within the next 3 months, if we continue publishing and sharing this grant with the individuals, we could definitely get that participation.
So they just have to be enrolled, or they have to actually have completed their training for some of the funds to be spent?
For the support services?
Yes.
No, they have to be enrolled through the grant.
Enrolled,
Yes.
okay.
Because the support services are meant to help them complete it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I have a question. How do they find out about this grant? Like, where would somebody go to find out about the grant and the availability?
Yes, thank you so much. So the grant is published on our Workforce Solutions website, but primarily where everyone's getting their information is from our Workforce Solutions centers. We have hundreds of individuals coming to our centers every day, and so whenever they mention to the counselor that they are interested in a certain occupation, the counselors are kind of trained right now to say, okay, well, if you want to do an advanced manufacturing, we actually have this grant that you could go through, and then they check their eligibility. So mainly, it is through the centers, but also it's through our Facebook as well, our RGV Operations Facebook.
Got it. I have one additional question. So you mentioned having met with Blue Parrot Software and DHR Health. Did you actually meet with South Texas Health System and Driscoll Children's Hospital?
No, we have not met with them yet.
Is there a reason why you're listing them here, but you only have met with DHR and Blue Parrot?
Yes, we have met with those before previously, but right now we included them because they are local employers of Edinburgh, that we also feel that they have occupations that could benefit and are eligible under this grant. So we included them as well.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you could meet with them as well if we were to decide to? Because I think if you're going to support one health system, I think you really should support all the health systems, because they all have the same needs, right? And to be fair across the board, it would be great.
We would love to. We love to have meetings. We love to visit these employers. We're always traveling outside of the office. So as many employers that are willing to participate in this, we're happy to meet. There's no limit, really.
Thank you.
Now, I understand staff is recommending approval?
Our recommendation is approval, yes.
Okay. Okay, well, that being said, can I get a motion to approve? Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 6 is the executive session. We have several projects in executive session. Can I get a motion to enter into executive session?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, we are entering executive session at 5:53 p.m. Thank you. Okay, we are now entering into open session. The time is 7:24 PM. Can I have a motion to enter into open session?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, being back in open session, for the record, no action was taken in executive session. We do need action on item 6A1, and it's approval of GMP termination approval of GMP and termination of PM Brownstone. Is that correct? Okay. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Now we need, we're going to proceed as discussed on item 4, item 6A4, 6A6, 6A7, 6A8, and 6A9. Can I get a motion to proceed as discussed in executive session, please?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same signal. Motion passes. And now I need to get, let me see, director's report and announcement. I guess we've discussed it's going to be emailed. The director's report is going to be emailed to every board member. Okay.
So it's all in your packet, but
Yes.
if you have any questions on the report, please reach out to us.
Okay. Then now, can I get a motion to end this session? All right, we got a motion, a second? All those, okay, we are done. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Tom.
What was this? When is that?